Hello everyone, welcome to Startup Academy. So, in the previous lecture, we started with our climate chapter of geography, and in today's lecture, I shall try to complete it. So, let's begin with the chapter. In the previous lecture, we had already discussed about the basic difference, what climate is, what weather is, and certain elements of climate. Then we were on the factors that affect the climate of certain place and especially the earth. So let's continue. Okay, we had the jet streams. We were on jet streams. What did the jet streams say? They say that they are flowing in the troposphere layer region of the earth. And how can we know that which layer is troposphere and which is not? So let's talk about that first. Okay, this is the earth, and here are the layers, like this, layers of the earth. So if here is the earth, then how can we determine the layers? We can say that the first layer shall be your troposphere, then it is stratosphere, then we have mesosphere, thermos, exos, ionos, and the last one here we have is known as magnetosphere. So these are basically the layers of the earth. So we are talking about the climate. Since we are talking about the climate, climate says that the first layer, that is the troposphere layer, affects the climate of the earth's atmosphere, because in this layer we have jet streamers. This jet streamers basically are related to the troposphere. Then the stratosphere is again related to your ozone layer, known as, here these are meteors, and like that the basic things are basically covered in that. But since we are discussing about the troposphere layer, in troposphere layer these are the jet streams or jet liners, we can say. Jet streams are basically, we can say them, narrow air rivers. So these are basically the rivers in which the airflow is quite large. So when we talk about this thing, what we can say is, we can say that two type of jet streams are there. Jet streams, one for we will be having summer season and another for winter season. Okay, winter type of climate or summer type of climate. So since these jet streams are in troposphere, they are directly affecting the climate. And what basically are jet streams? Jet streams are nothing but narrow air liners. So here what are they saying? In the subtropical westerly jet, these are dominant for winters over India. Like we are talking about Indian climate, so therefore we have subtropical westerly jets which will help us, or which will basically define the winters or the climate of winter or the cool climate in India. Then if we talk about the summer season, what will happen in the summer season? Summer season के लिए it is basically developing through tropical region, tropical one. The previous one had subtropical part for winters. And when we talk about the tropical region is only for the summer or the monsoon season. Now, what are they playing role? Why are we studying about them? We know that they are basically found in the troposphere layer of the earth, and they are basically known for creating the western disturbances, their onset and their withdrawal, Another thing is monsoon onset. Monsoon onset and the western disturbances are also playing role. Then we have the atmospheric moisture and humidity. See, absolute humidity, specific humidity, and relative humidity. These are basically the physical terms which you should not be like more likely to be aware of, but you should know that these are the basic different things. That is the atmospheric pressure and humidity. Humidity itself is absolute humidity, specific humidity, and relative humidity, and according to them, their definitions are also mentioned over here. So, whenever we talk about the humidity, we always talk in terms of relative humidity. What does relative humidity refers to? Relative matlab it must be referring to certain sort of relation. ठीक है? So here we say that the actual moisture present in the air to the mass it can hold. Supposedly, the you have the capacity to eat 10 chocolates, I can say, and you are right now eating only 2 chocolates. So what will be your relative humidity? Your relative capacity to eat would be 2 chocolates since you are eating, and actually what you can eat is by 10. So 2 by 10 will be your relative capacity to eat. Therefore, when we discuss about the relative humidity, we can say that the actual thing upon the total amount it can hold, and thing here should be the moisture content. ठीक है? So moisture content is basically nothing but a part that refers to humidity. Then we have the types of precipitation. This holds great importance because in your examination they can directly ask you what do you mean by precipitation. Only this much shall be enough for you to include all these type of, or they can tell what they can ask what are orographic rainfall, what are cyclonic rainfall. Such questions can also be asked. So therefore it becomes important. So when we talk about the precipitation, precipitation is a sort of, you can, most of the people relate it to the rainfall, but the coming of water or pure form of water from the heaven to the earth is the form of precipitation. It can be in anything. So therefore you can relate it to rainfall ultimately. ठीक है? So when we talk about the precipitation, the first thing it says is conventional rainfall. Conventional rainfall are the rainfall that are caused due to the process of convection. Convection is certain process in which there is nothing but the water cycle that you have studied in your class 6, 7, 8 and 9 and 10. So only those certain sort of rainfall are known as conventional rainfall. What basically the water cycle represents, we can discuss like, here is your land, say here it is the river, okay, and here is the sun shining. When we talk about the river and the sun shining, what happens is sun's rainfall will be falling on this, due to which certain sort of evaporation of water will occur. These are the coming rainfall, and these rainfall are causing evaporation. This evaporation now joins the cloud above, forming the water droplets. Since they are going up, they are causing water droplets in the clouds formation. So this cloud when becomes heavy, when it grabs most of the moisture content from due to evaporation, so such clouds they become very heavy at certain point of time, and when they become heavy, they tend to lose their moisture. And the process of losing moisture is basically known as rainfall or precipitation. Rainfall in form it can be, or you can ultimately say it as precipitation. So this is the general cycle in very simple terms, without including most of the terms, just a simple cycle when there is nothing but evaporation, condensation going on simultaneously, creating a water, creating the formation of the clouds which is falling on the earth, coming back to the water and filling the rivers again. So this is nothing but the water cycle. So conventional rainfall, how are they caused? They are caused by intense heating and rising of the air, common in equatorial regions. What was the equatorial region that they are discussing about? The equatorial region is nothing but the region over here which lies near the equator. Equator, as I've told you, is at 0 degrees. So the region near the equator is known as the equatorial region. Equatorial region. ठीक है. Another thing that we need to discuss is it is caused by an intense heat and heating and rising of the air. The sun is heating the water, due to which the uh, air surrounding air surrounding the river is also having certain sort of pressure and certain sort of moisture content. Since the pressure is high, therefore the air is quite low, therefore it goes up, rising. As the altitude increases, the pressure gets decreases, due to which it becomes a cloud at a very low level. And once that clouds gets, we can say, suffice amount of moisture, it can just pour it down on the earth back. So this is how the conventional rainfalls are caused. Then we have the orographic rainfall. We have studied that the mountain or the relief feature play a great role when we were discussing about the relief features in the climate sector. So we said that the climate plays great role. How is it playing? That orographic rainfall are basically the rainfall that are caused when the moisture laden winds, they strike certain relief feature like mountain, it can be valley, it can be mostly the mountains or the rocks. So when they collide with that, the moisture is dropped on that side only. So certain such rainfalls are known as orographic rainfall. Then we have the cyclonic or frontal rainfall, which are associated with nothing but the temperate cyclones or the fronts. So since it is connected to the cyclonic part, so the areas facing the most of the cyclones are known to have the cyclonic sort of rainfall. Okay, so let me just give you example of orographic rainfall. Supposedly this is the mountain or a relief feature, and here the winds are coming. These are the moisture laden winds, due to which strike this side when they will strike this side of the mountain, they will cause nothing but a rainfall. So certain sort of rainfall are known as orographic rainfalls. Now, when we talk about air masses and fronts, let's talk about air masses and fronts. हम्म ये हो जाएगा, फिर ये भी चला जाएगा, ये पेपर. Okay, so let's discuss about the air masses and the fronts. Air masses are nothing but the large bodies of air with uniform temperature and humidity. So you should know what air masses actually are. So we have the polar mass, the continental, tropic, maritime polar, and the maritime tropical. So these are the front boundaries between the air masses that include warm, cold, and occluded fronts. Then we have the climatic classification or the Köppen system. When we talk about the climatic classification or the Köppen system, what do we have? We have based on the temperature and the precipitation patterns, that is the rainfall when it is occurring, in which type of months it is occurring, or in which what are the periods it is taking, so that we talk about the patterns. Major groups are tropical, we can say them tropical. Then we have the dry, we have warm temperate type, cold and polar type. Therefore, whenever we divide the earth, we call it the equatorial portion, subtropical, temperate portion, polar portions and tropical zones. Tropical zones we have, temperate zones we have, then we have the polar zone. So this is how we divide the earth on basis of these temperatures. इंडिया का जो टेम्परेचर आएगा, since these are the types, and it is not that India is lying all over the earth, it is not scattered all over the earth, so only a basic feature it will have, that is the tropical monsoon type or savan type of climate it will have. When we talk about the climate changes and variability, the climate change due to the natural environment that it is having or coping up with the natural surroundings. Therefore, what we can say is long term alteration, as we have read on the first page itself when we were discussing about the climate and the weather differentiation. So, we have learned that it is long term alteration in climate due to natural and anthropogenic factors. When we talk about the climate variability, why is it varying on certain distances or certain parts of the earth? Like it can be related to the certain sort of fluctuations. Why are these fluctuations? Because rise in ozone layer, depletion of ozone layer. You must be knowing that ozone is of two types. One is for beneficial for us, and another one is disgusting and somewhat causing cancer, causing it has been proved to be. So like that also you should be aware. Then we have the EINO. El Nino, what does it happen? It weakens the monsoon feature of India. India is known to have subtropical monsoon type of climate, but due to such factors, the monsoon regionality or the variability has been seen, due to which the monsoon has been reduced in India, where India was experiencing large amount of rainfall every now and then. That was very crucial for the agriculture premises also that India holds. But now, because of such factors, the monsoon has been weakened. Then we have La Nina that strengthens. So there are both the factors that are basically appreciating and degrading the monsoon variability and the features that monsoon represents in India. Then we have Indian Ocean Dipole that again influences the monsoon rainfall. Now, if we come to the monsoon climate, Indian climate. Now let's discuss about the Indian climate. Till now, what have we discussed? We have discussed what actually the climate is, what does weather mean, what are the factors that will influence, what type of precipitation shall be caused, what basically the things are required to have certain sort of temperature, how the vegetation is being affected by the climate. This we have seen just a bit. Rest of the part we shall be covering in the natural vegetation and the habitat that India has. So that will also be covered in upcoming videos. So let's discuss what type of actually the climate is having, India is having. So as you all know, we are having subtropical monsoon type of climate, due to which there are certain factors that basically influence or strengthens the monsoon, whereas there are other factors that are grabbing to weaken the monsoon type of climate. Then we have Indian climate and monsoon. Indian climate is monsoon type characterized by seasonal reversal of winds. Seasonal reversal of winds, why are they saying? When we talked about the jetliners, it was known that during the hot season, north towards south, this was the shift that could be seen. That is hot, from the cool part from the cool part, it was seen to have the hot part as well. So from cool part they were seen to move to the hot part. Why? The jet liners or the jet streams, they seem to flow during the hot season from the north to the south portion of India, and their direction of flowing is nothing but like this. There appears This is how the distorted feels like. So this is how it feels. And in this portion, it used to fall, that is the subtropical portion and the polar areas, whereas during the hot season, it changes its direction and moves in this direction. So this is how the certain sort of changes occurs. Also, when we will talk about the reversal of the winds, we will discuss what western winds are, why are winds moving always from this direction to that direction, that is from the west to the east, and why from the north to the south. Because as we know that the winds always move from high pressure region to low pressure region, that is high pressure region is always found where the temperature is basically high, and low pressure region is found where the temperature pressure is low. ठीक है? That's why you must have seen that when you are in the polar regions of the earth or the northern hemisphere of the of India, we can say, that's why there the cooking in pressure cooker is very difficult as compared to cooking it on plains or lower levels like that. Okay, coming back, factors influencing monsoon include what? They include the differential heating. Why? Because the line lining on the latitude playing the major role also impacts. Like sun would be over here shining brightly. This is your sun that would be shining brightly, and the latitude at the 0 degree would be receiving major of the rainfall. And we also know that the earth axis is tilted in 23.5 degree. Due to that also there are certain differential heating causes that are given or risen in the atmosphere that could be reflected in the climate change that India experiences. Then we have is ITCZ shift Tibetan plateau playing the role of nothing but a relief feature. Heating and jet streams, as I have just told. Then monsoon is vital. Why we have monsoon? Because India basically serves on the agriculture purpose. Most of the Indians are none but the farmers, not the businessmen we have. We also have the businessmen, but the major feature is like the agriculture facility or the fields that we have. Therefore, having the large area and having the monsoon type of climate is basically impactful. Therefore, the monsoon is vital for agriculture, water resources, and the economy of Indian public. So, this is how you can write or frame your answers in your examination coming on climate chapter or any sort of chapter. So let me just tell you the PYQ. One of your PYQ was they just asked in one of the PYQ they asked about the factors affecting climate. This was the PYQ of yours, factors affecting climate. So in that, it was obviously of 5 marks. So in that, you could have written all these things mentioned point wise. You could have scored whole 5 marks. Okay. Then when we talk about another slide, it shows us heat budget has never been asked. But yeah, you were asked about this insulation along with another question. They have asked what is meant by insulation, and along with this, yeah, this was there, the temperature distribution, how is it affecting, how the latitudes are affecting, and as I'm telling you again, the tilted axis of earth is 23 and a half, so that is also being asked many times, so that is also you need to remember. So this was again your PYQ of 5 marks. Then when we talk about planetary winds, types of winds they have asked, sometimes they can ask, so again it becomes a question of yours. Then role of jet streams is not directly asked, but it you can include it in your answers in order to make it more elaborated, evaluated, and detrimental. So Moving on to the next slide, we have air masses fronts have never been asked. Climate change and variability is again nothing has been asked from here. Okay, here we have the major question PYQ. Let me just frame it on another slide. They say that what is the climate of India? Then difference between climate and weather. Then you have enumerate the factors affecting climate. What is precipitation? Give its classifications. So, these questions you can practice as your assignment, and you can share your answers with us, not in the comment section but on the WhatsApp. So like that you can practice. Such questions shall be altered in their I would say language or something like that. Certain few points, few or more questions could be combined together in order to exaggerate the meaning of UPSC. So only such questions are important, and the PDF shall be uploaded on the Telegram channel. From there you can see. And if you are having any problem regarding writing any of these answers, so you can just comment me down. I will explain how to write, how to frame, though the matter has been discussed clearly in the videos. Oh, sorry, in the PDFs, and all the PDF pages shall be uploaded clearly on the Telegram channel. Still, if you face any sort of problem, then you can inform. Then I shall make another video in order to cut out your queries and everything in order to answer the queries of yours. So this was all for today, and we have completed the climate chapter. We shall be beginning with another chapter of geography. Till then, thank you and keep watching.